The Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine is the epicenter of Russia's invasion. Civilian infrastructure has been devastated. Konstantinovka, which is around 10 miles from Bakhmut, a town that has seen the heaviest fighting of the conflict, is often targeted by Russian missiles. Despite the raging conflict, some civilians have remained in the war zone, unwilling or simply unable to leave their hometowns. The thud of shelling is a near constant soundtrack to daily life in frontline towns. As we drove to visit civilians in Donetsk, a town just 3 miles from Russian lines, a shell whizzed over our car and exploded nearby. Healthcare for people caught up in the grinding conflict is extremely limited in frontline towns. Doctors Without Borders, also known as MSF, has been supporting local hospitals and organizing the evacuation of injured civilians, as well as other vulnerable people.
Through ambulances, a fleet of ambulances, we moved the patients from the medical facility to our medical train in Donetsk region, and then after that we moved them to the several regions in Ukraine. In Konstantinivka there are still 40,000 civilians living in the area. This means that together with a movement of healthcare personnel, there is a population that is still in need, so the hospital needs support and they need expertise, and we decided to work close by them as long as the security condition would allow us to work.
У нас с начала войны мы, в общем-то, не переставали работать, просто потеряли много людей, они выехали по своей воле, врачи и медсестры, и было очень тяжело, потому что поток пострадавших был большой, а лечить было некому. Наши диагностические возможности скромные. Вот, а так остается метод УЗИ-диагностики, рентген, лабораторная, то есть этого явно недостаточно для того, чтобы лечить тяжелых и крайне тяжелых пациентов. Мы просто работаем с волонтерскими группами, которые занимаются транспортировкой людей вглубь Украины.
Доча была в ходе с дочечкой со своей, они закрыты были. А я пришла, никто не отвечает, а потом уже вышла, когда на улицу, то что случилось со мной. Я начала ей кричать: доча, доча, я вызываю скорую. Она бедненькая, тоже в шоке. Мама, вот, снова ранить мне, но ничего не слышно было, ничего абсолютно. Когда я прилетела, откуда оно прилетело, я говорю, я ничего не слышала.
А там часто прилеты?
Да,
Часто
да,
бывает?
Да. Спасибо.
Знаете, то, что мир Бахмутом интересуется, это хорошо, но это ж один маленький участок войны. Мир должен бороться за мир. Я думаю, что санкции – это недостаточная борьба. Я думаю, мир не осознает, с кем он имеет дело в лице Путина.
So we're going in Kurakhove, which is a town close by Donetsk, is in Donetsk region, and we're going to take a patient from Kurakhove hospital. The town where we're going is an active city in terms of conflict and shelling. It's 15 kilometers from the active front line, and about 1 hour and a half ago, 3 explosions happened in the city center.
Dana Vazdetska lives in a village just 20 miles from the fighting. She suffered a serious leg injury in a missile attack that happened early one morning as she set out to milk her goat. Her husband and neighbor were killed and the family's home was destroyed. Her 15-year-old son only escaped because he was sheltering in the basement. Diana and her son are now being evacuated by the MSF to western Ukraine, which has been spared most of the horrors of the war. They plan to stay with relatives. The journey to safety will take 22 hours.
greatest challenge of medical train is to find out the needs of patients before the trip and to arrange the proper destination for them. As well, very big challenge for whole team is psychological state of the patient, the mental health state of the patient, because very often our patients are very confused. They're afraid of loud sounds. They can't believe that they're going to the safer place, and during the trip they really require support from all of our team. Today, our trip aimed to Pokrovsk to pick up the patients from Donetsk region. Then we pick up patients from Dnipro. All of them also originally from Donetsk region. They were stabilized in Dnipro hospitals, and we transfer them to different regions at the western Ukraine. The biggest number of evacuation, it was 105 patients per trip. Currently we have 110 trips, and we evacuated 3,300 patients. We have three main categories of patients. About 30% are wounded patients from Donetsk region directly or from Dnipro region after stabilization in the hospitals in Dnipro itself. Then we have patients, medical patients with different chronic diseases, and about 30% of our patients, they are patients with mostly social needs, low mobility patients, psychiatric patients, etc.
Поїхав на ставок мити машину. Якраз в тот момент прилетела мина за мной. И вот это аж осколком в ногу раздробило. Сам доехал до ближайшего города, и дальше военных пересел в военный. Военные меня уже доставили до больницы.
А там не спиш спать, доли секунд. Зриви і все. Ти прильотів не чути чого. Це як мимо пролітав, розчуть, усе свистить, там що. Так нічого не чути. Зразу взриви побачив.
I would say that our work helps to deal with all the emotions during the war in Ukraine because it's happening in my country. We have very good team spirit on the train, and this team spirit helps us to manage all the situations and to survive all the mental health issues in our project.
At dawn, the patient has a heart attack. It's tense, but she pulls through.
Господи, а мушки что же нету? Thomas, can you come to the video, please?
Какой?
The woman's house in the Donetsk region was also destroyed in the fighting. Like the other patients, she will now be provided with long-term medical treatment and support in Western Ukraine as she tries to rebuild her shattered life. For the MSF staff, one journey is over, but President Putin's refusal to call off his senseless invasion of Ukraine means there is unlikely to be a shortage of patients. The train and its tireless staff will soon return to the war zone.